everyone receives is a reflection of us.
Dear Diary, I had an epiphany moment, you might say, or a breakthrough. A hurdle released, a blockage removed, you might say, and it comes down to the acceptance of an event or events that I did in a prior living. Am I proud of those moments? No, not really. But I think I was avoiding the fact that I may or may not have done them. It doesn't matter whether I did or I can remember that I did. Nothing sinister or bad, but something that I'm holding back. I'm avoiding the fact that I didn't like it. I disapproved of what I did. So I tried to bury it in the sand, so to speak. Hide away from it, not confronting it. But all I had to do was accept the fact that I did that. And this isn't a release for freeing myself from the burden of others. No, this is a way of me moving on from my own issues. The things that I do have helped others, yes, they've also helped me, but in doing so, you take things from others to put them in the right direction. I've done and seen many things in my life, and a lot of them were experimentation. Understanding that things had to occur the way they did so that I would become the better person or remove the things from my mind that was created. So you see, I went back, and as I closed my eyes, I saw all the visions of the things that were holding me back that paved the way to the things that I did. And that's the things of the teenage mind. They lay the way and pave the way for the foundations of who we are. But you see, that was negative. For they teach you to identify the problem and release and heal it. But you also must accept the fact that it happened. And you get that release moment from your energy, shedding the layers, so to speak. Which led me to a few other things. One of them being weight gain. I mean, I've gained weight 3 times, I think, 3 or 4 times. And I only found out recently of why that is. You see, I worked hard a lot to lose weight, to get into shape and be fit. But in each time, my mindset was wrong, so I wasn't learning the lesson for something as simple as gaining and losing weight. So the first time I lost weight to try to impress a woman that I got close to that I really liked, because I thought it was my weight. In the end, I know it wasn't. But at that time and in my mind, that's what I was thinking. So I did that, and it didn't work. So I gained weight. And then I lost weight again. But you see, I was in the process of losing weight again because A, my friend needed help, but also to impress her. And that didn't last, and I gained again. Another one, I lost weight just because. But you see, my mindset wasn't right because I thought I'm tired of being overweight, but because it was in that moment where I was freeing myself from substance, my mindset was wrong. And it led me to another time, believe it or not, that I lost weight again. But this time, I was flaunting the expression of how my body was. I was expressing my body in a way of pleasure to others to look for confirmation that I looked good. that sort of desire and lust for someone to tell me, to show myself off to someone else. So I wasn't appreciative of my body. I was seeking that gratification in a sexual manner. And then life had me gain weight again from quitting smoking. You see, all of these factors are tying in now because I now identify that I wasn't able to keep my weight because I hadn't appreciated for who I am, my body, and why I do it. For each time, it's not doing it for the fact that I respect my body and I want to be fit. Each of those times, I was doing it incorrectly. So through this acceptance, it led me to another. And when I identify that, as I sit here a little bit overweight, I feel comfortable in my body because I am one with it. So when time comes to lose weight next time, I'm doing so for me and my body, not for the wrong reasons. That and, I like to fit in normal clothes. But to round out this entry, I wanted to talk about why the mind remembers certain things. Why is it that the brain can remember these things? Where does it get stored? So if we're going through life, we should experience on a daily basis, but we remember the things that keep us locked down. Situations like that we experience to get over, but why do the memories remain? Let's look at a computer. A computer has a hard drive which is spinning disks. It records information on it. Some of them are different. Some of them are storage devices. They have other means now. Look at a USB stick. So, if a piece of hardware needs something like that to store the device, I know our DNA and everything can store information too. So can water. But where does the brain store it? What part of the brain? We know where memory is and where they tell it is, but when you think about it, it's just a bunch of muscle and skin and nerve systems and stuff like that. There's some type of a chemical process. But is it in the water that flows through us? Is it in the blood? I like to think outside the box because it's things like this that make me question, well, what if it is the water or the blood that runs through and it isn't the brain after all? What would that mean? We know through prior history that information is stored within water. And we are, 70% water? Correct me if I'm wrong. So there must be a lot of information that is stored within. And we keep fueling it with more information. So if we store information in water, then surely we can access that information when we need to. If it stores the entire universe of knowledge, surely we have access to it. So, does the brain just connect the memories from the water? Do we access the water or the blood and acquire the memories that we need? Have they stopped that access? If we are electricity and electricity with water, we know what that creates. But inside each cell and atom, there's all this information. I ask myself this question because sometimes I wonder about the body that we live in, the mechanical events, and the biosphere of the body. But have you ever wondered why your brain, or how your brain is able to store the memory or the thoughts you have? And where does that information go? Where does it get stored? I don't want to be scientific and know the ins and outs of it. I just want to be able to make that question. And people to think about the fact that when you look at it from a different perspective, well, hey, it might be the water. We know under Egypt and pyramids, the aquifers is what used to hold and take the information from one place to another. The same with power. More and more questions come into it when you start to release yourself from your burdens, but not questions where you need to know the answer. Just questions of what if and how is that possible? What do you do with it? I always ask, what do you do with the information once you know it? How do you apply it? That's the knowledge that everyone wants to be a part of, is you learn that these are all symbols and thoughts and creations that we create, but where is the application of these things? How do you put it into practice? Especially with sacred symbols. So you see, you can go off on quite a tangent. You can go down quite a long way. But these are good questions to have. But dear diary, as I leave you today, I get you to ponder this. A friend of mine once said one of my paintings made him remind him of his father, which was quite nice. It's old school. And brought that energy to the phone call. And then as I was talking with him, I used the word comeuppance. And he said to me that that was a word that his father used to say a lot to him as well. You might see this as synchronistic or a sign, because whether he may or may not speak to his father or was past, these are the things that we brought up for one person to recognize. So how do you plan that event in society? How do you plan that event in the natural world? When I was speaking, I didn't bother to worry about the words that I was saying. They were just what I was said. But you see, when I look at that from a different perspective, I believe that was my way of planting a seed for someone to then go and do something. Or just to highlight to the people in the surroundings who may have overheard the conversation. So many different things can come from being appreciative of the situations that you're in. But during these ascensions, there is so much happening. There is so much to do in terms of shadow work. Going through your previous memories, removing them from what is holding you back. That's sort of knowing nothing to know everything. And this is, for me, my acceptance. From all the things that I did, knowing that I did my best and that it was needed. And knowing that the things that I did may have taken a little bit longer than they should, but I appreciate them nonetheless. For everything is in divine timing. And when we realize that, we start to pay attention when these euphoric moments of thought and creation start happening to make us a better version of who we are. And with that, peace and love. Take care.